It's time for Weather Impact Live. Hi, how you doing? I'm 10 Tampa Bay meteorologist Colleen Campbell. Let's start off with some local conditions. Pretty quiet weather here at home, right? We do have some crazy weather to talk about across the nation. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but let's take a live look around on our beautiful cameras. Downtown Tampa, St. Pete, a couple high clouds out there today. You probably noticed the cooler temperatures, cooler air out there, feeling more like fall. Winter, the official start of winter just around the corner. We're about 12 days away from that. Begins on the 21st, the winter solstice. Lakeland's looking beautiful. Armature Works, Sarasota, sun shining on the water there. And then Clearwater Beach. A little bit of a chop out there for some of those boaters. The water will be getting a little bit choppier as we move into tonight. There's a live view from Ascent, St. Petersburg. Wow, just gorgeous. Not too many clouds out there. Great day to get outside. Maybe enjoy some time, catch up with a friend, walk the dog, whatever you want to do. Temperatures right now, cool. We're in the upper 50s for Crystal River, lower 60s just south of that. Newport Richey, Brooksville. We have some 70s holding on across our interior locations. Frostproof and Bartow sitting at 71, Lakeland 72. We have some upper 60s that are snuggled in St. Petersburg and some lower 60s in places like Port Manatee. Now, we haven't had a major temperature change, at least when we look at afternoons. This morning was certainly on the cooler side. Depends where you are. Some places had a slight warm up like Lakeland, especially across those interior locations. Some places didn't really have much of a change at all. You'll notice closer to the water, that's where, and especially up to the north, that's where they have that 5-degree temperature difference. Crystal River, for example, cooler. Now, we do have a front that's sinking into our area that will cool our temperatures down once again as we move into Friday morning. Dew points are also on the pleasant side. Check that out. We have dew points that are in the 50s. That's when it really feels refreshing. Shouldn't have too much of an issue with fog. We have problems with fog whenever that dew point gets a little bit closer to the air temperature, or the in the case of sea fog, the sea temperature, which is still pretty warm at 70 degrees. Also lighter winds. We will have a breezier wind for tonight. Dew point change, again, not a big difference in those dew points. We have dew points that are slightly cooler in most locations. For the next couple of days here, look at that. We have that nice little dip we like to see as we move toward the weekend. That's because we have a front coming our way, so that will make dew points even lower. Invigorating, right? We love some invigorating air. Love that. All right, so getting out to Clearwater, I mentioned we have a bit of a chop out there. We had some lighter chop earlier on the seas, but now it looks like the winds are starting to pick up the pace. I can bring you into the marine forecast to show you what I mean. So earlier, the winds north to northwest around 10 knots. Later on today, that will increase to about 10 to 15 knots. No advisories for this. Light to moderate chop, seas around 1 to 2 feet. For today, it is a mild afternoon, considering we had cooler morning. Low 70s, overall great day. You don't have to worry about any rain. We had all that crazy rain over the weekend. And then moving into tonight, temperatures are dropping down into the upper 50s once again. And we're waiting for that front to move through. That will move through tomorrow night into Friday morning, and we will drop down into the 40s. Now, so far, we did not issue a weather impact alert. Generally, we look for temperatures that will be cooler than the mid 40s in Tampa. Of course, our northernmost locations get even colder than that when we have these fronts move through, but not there to that criteria for weather impact alert for Friday morning yet. And by the way, this is for tomorrow morning. I'm just going on a rant here. There's the low temperatures for the rest of the region. Tomorrow morning, we're just looking at Tampa. But Crystal River, of course, they were always colder than us here in Tampa. They will be in the upper 40s for tomorrow, but again, not enough to issue a weather impact alert. Usually we look for temperatures that are cold enough for those shelters to open. All right, so going on to the big picture here, satellite and radar. We have our front that's just on our doorstep. It will pass through. It's a dry front, so we're not getting any rain out of it. Maybe a couple clouds. That's really it in the moisture category, water vapor, right? But we will get that cool down in the temperatures. Just a slight little change as we move toward this weekend. And then we actually have another system that's on the way, entering into next week. But right now it doesn't look like a huge rainmaker either. Very hard to make rain this time of the year. That's why if anybody joined us over this past weekend, the models were all over the place on the timing, because this is not the system we had this past weekend. Not a typical setup that we have for this time of the year. Usually these fronts don't really pass through our region. They kind of fall apart. And if they do pass through, they just bring a slight temperature change, a drop in the dew points, which is exactly what we will get as we move toward Friday. All right, I want to move over to the Pacific Northwest on our surface map here. And there's a live look. Look at that. That is a pretty view from Leavenworth, Washington. This is a village in the Cascade Mountains in the central part of the state. And you can see some slick roads from the rain. The entire Pacific Northwest is getting, thanks to dun, 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 an atmospheric river. We've talked about this before on our Weather Impact live shows. Basically, you have a fire hose of moisture moving into the region, and our producer was so kind to bring up radar there. This is actually water vapor that you're looking at. So look at that. It looks like a fire hose of moisture. That's how it's often described, because it is just tons of moisture that's working through the atmosphere. Basically, it's a river of atmosphere just higher up, right? It's not down in the ground, but it produces enough rain down at the surface. And they've been dealing with some flooding up across the Pacific Northwest. So we do have a package coming up on that, talking about the water levels in some of those rivers, basically reaching near flood stage. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that. It's coming up, just give it a second.
Overnight, a whiteout in Wisconsin as heavy snow led to a winter weather advisory in parts of the state. Plow trucks were out in Minnesota, with the upper Midwest bracing for more snow early in the season.
This time of the year is a lot different for drivers because they're learning how to drive in the snow again.
Snow removal is a very hard business.
In St. Paul, the earlier bout of winter weather is creating steady work for Ryan Warner's company.
Everyone's signing contracts, they want to be covered.
But it's not all about making money. There are also neighbors helping neighbors.
All right, so that package you just saw, you're probably saying, that's not river flooding, that's snow. Well, we were going to talk about it later because they are experiencing some snow across the Midwest, but we want to show you river flooding. So let's pull up that package. Sometimes this happens, so the packages just got mixed up, but we're going to show you both. So let's check out the one about the Pacific Northwest.
Morning commute interrupted.
Not a very wise thing to do.
The storm turned this I-5 overpass into a bridge over the suddenly swollen Newaukum River. 5 cars got stuck, including a commercial semi. Everyone, though, made it out safely.
They had to break a window to get the guy out of that car.
Napa Vines police chief says floods are nothing new for his town, but these drivers got a refresher course on the dangers of high water.
You don't know how deep it is, you don't know how swift it is, and this is what happens. You get stuck there, and then it's a situation that you can't control.
At the same time, rescuers from Lewis County's Fire District 5 and the Sheriff's Office were called out to homes on nearby Hamilton Road. Boats and a retired military vehicle rescued 7 people and several pets from the neighborhood, surrounded by the Newaukum River. Getting in and out all day was tricky, even for those in high pickups.
Probably not the brightest idea, but we heard that it was getting pretty close to the house there, so we had to go and make sure nothing was getting ruined or nothing we could do to salvage stuff.
Chris Powell's home on Hamilton is getting renovated, so they weren't there overnight. He came back to a surprise.
Yeah, it can sneak up pretty good because when we left here last night at dark, it wasn't even cresting the river, and this morning it's like this, so it's kind of hard to tell how fast it's going to rise.
I think we got a little bit more to come, understandably.
Since we are not out of the woods, first responders are bracing for a busy week.
We're at the mercy of Mother Nature like always, so we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, so when you have river flooding like that, those cars, I was looking at those cars stranded. It comes at a rapid pace there. Those rivers begin to swell and they meet their major flooding stage, and then it kind of goes downhill from there. All right, so water vapor on your screen. Also, we have that live view from Levittown. Leavenworth, I knew I said that wrong. Leavenworth, I apologize. On the left hand of your screen, and that is where we just saw all of that river flooding that's ongoing. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, I actually have more video on the flooding out that way, and then we're going to get to some snow that they're working through across the Midwest. See you then.
Before hurricane season hits, it's time to prep your home. Familiarize yourself with where your water shutoff valve is located. If backflow prevention devices are installed, get them tested annually.
Those are some great tips, and Cool Today is here to help you weather the storm. For over 60 years, we've been here to help Floridians with their cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. We can help you prepare, protect, and repair your home. Call 888-40-TODAY.
I was driving when a Ford pickup truck barreled into me from behind, sending me to the hospital.
I knew my husband was going to need an excellent attorney, so I called Dan Newland.
I'm so glad my wife called Dan. Dan really fought for me. He won my case and got me $650,000.
If you've been involved in a car accident, allow me to fight for you. Call me now at 813-888-8000.
Thanks, Dan, for winning my husband's case.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. Unique quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
All right, welcome back. So before we left you for a break, we were talking about some flooding across the Pacific Northwest due to that atmospheric river. There are flood watches that are ongoing at this time. Starting off on the left there in Washington, they have a pretty good portion of Seattle's covered under that flood watch. That goes until Friday morning, 7 a.m. That's a long period of time for a flood watch, but again, they're already experiencing flooding, and then they're expecting more. Also, northern Idaho and portions of northwestern Montana also under a flood watch. They are under that flood watch until tomorrow at 5 p.m. and Idaho is under that until tomorrow at 4 p.m. But you can see that long extended flood watch still ongoing for Washington State, and Seattle is of course included in that. That's kind of ground zero for where they're experiencing the worst flooding. Now the water levels in the rivers went down overnight, but as we said here, they are expected to go back up, set to peak on Friday. So it makes sense why they have that flood watch, right? NOAA is forecasting the Snohomish River to get up to 33 feet, and that's about double its normal height and still 6 feet higher than the worst of what that area has seen so far. And this is video that has been gathered from that area. Oh, look at that. Yeah. So that's the aftermath of all that flooding, and of course those cars stranded. And people probably say, oh, well, why they drive through it? But the thing is, again, I said this before break, when you have river flooding, it happens fast. So, all right, from flooding to snow, we have a live look in Saranac, upstate New York, as snow is falling right now. Also getting dark there. My mom was visiting over Thanksgiving, and she said it gets so dark so early up there. Now, she's not that far north, but yeah, it is a beautiful sight, though. Looks like a cute little Christmas town. And I believe we have another video from, we have some footage there from the snow that they received in Pennsylvania. Man, I do not miss that. Snow's fun and all, but when you have to drive through it, not so fun, right? Then we have Minnesota, where they are just trekking in the snow, probably trying to get stock up on milk and bread and eggs and everything that they need. We know how that goes, right? Well, maybe you don't if you're Floridian. pushing the cart through the snow. Yeah, so this is a nice VO of all that we're missing out on. And oh yeah, I got out the nice snow scraper, brushing off the windshield. Don't miss that either. Your fingertips are all numb and sloshing through it. Yeah, so now on satellite radar, we actually have more of that's on the way. So they've been dealing with that snow. That's Minnesota. Actually in the, well, we looked at New York too, but along the spine of the Appalachia, they will have some higher totals of snow accumulating moving into this upcoming week. And that's because they have a series of these low pressure systems. You can see one up there by Toronto and Buffalo. Actually, our news director, he was just in Buffalo. He can come back and tell you guys how cold it was. It was pretty darn cold up there. But yes, they have a mix of snow, and of course the lower elevations have a mix of, well, wintry mix. Some of that can be a cold rain. Some of that is sleet. Not seeing too much sleet right now. That would be indicated by the pink. But look at the snowfall forecast for the next couple days here. If I play this out, we actually have a system that's moving over from North Dakota, Montana, and it's going to clip right down across a large portion of the northern U.S. And you can see over in West Virginia there, yeah, they'll have snow. I mean, some of these places, lower end totals, lower end 3 to 5 inches, but some of the higher end totals, we're talking 6 to 12 inches easily, especially in those mountainous areas. I worked in West Virginia. I know how, you know, you just go, you know, a mile or two north into the east and you hit the mountains and phew, it is a different world, right? So yeah, the more winter weather on the way if anybody's traveling out there. Hey, I think we have a package on some of the impacts across the country. We were showing you portions of this earlier, but let's show you the whole thing. Here's reporter Jared Hill.
Overnight, a whiteout in Wisconsin as heavy snow led to a winter weather advisory in parts of the state. Plow trucks were out in Minnesota, with the upper Midwest bracing for more snow early in the season.
This time of the year is a lot different for drivers because they're learning how to drive in the snow again.
Snow removal is a very hard business.
In St. Paul, the earlier bout of winter weather is creating steady work for Ryan Warner's company.
Everyone's signing contracts, they want to be covered.
But it's not all about making money. There are also neighbors helping neighbors. A member of the St. Louis City Snow Angels volunteer group was out clearing the sidewalk for one of their own, inside after ankle surgery.
It's a 2-to-1 ratio of people who need help versus those who can help. And not everyone can help out for every storm.
For this Minnesota business, the chilly temperatures are a cold comfort, with snowmobile sales seeing a boom after a lengthy lull.
It's been really tough, honestly. You know, not having snow for 2 years, and actually one of those not having ice.
In the Pacific Northwest, a powerful storm system dubbed an atmospheric river dumped inches of heavy rain, leading to high water and causing this waterfall to swell, flooding roads around Snohomish County in Washington state.
I don't think people are taking it very serious. I mean, this whole valley you can't even get to now. So if anybody has an emergency out there, they have to get a boat.
As levels are expected to continue to rise, prompting local officials to declare a state of emergency. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Yeah, do not miss that type of weather. Hey, here at home, we are, I hate to say it, pretty quiet. There's a reason why people come to Florida in the fall and the winter. Once hurricane season's done, it's all easy breezy. Now, we did have some rocky weather this past weekend, but we're going to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about our chance for rain, little chance for rain, as we move into this upcoming week. I'll see you on the other side of this break.
I was involved in a very bad car accident. Called attorney Dan Newland, and it was like 1, 2, 3. Dan really got it done for me. At the end of my case, he got me $525,000.
As one of the largest personal injury law firms in the United States, my team and I remain committed more than ever to win big on your case. Involved in a car accident? Let's get started. Call me at 813-888-8000.
Thank you, Dan, for winning my case.
This autumn, give your home the upgrade it deserves. Save up to 20% during California Closet's Autumn Upgrade event, making it easier than ever to transform your space with our select finishes. Whether it's a walk-in closet, home office, pantry, or garage, our designs are about more than organization. They're about creating space for what belongs. We call it practical magic, expert design that feels effortless. Visit one of our 3 Tampa Bay showrooms or schedule your complimentary consultation today at CaliforniaClosetsTampaBay.com.
Windows are created and installed with different levels of quality. Unique quality that can withstand the tropical climate. Our installers only install PGT custom windows and doors, so we are the go-to experts. Don't take my word for it. We have been named Best of Tampa Bay 3 years in a row, Reader's Choice in Sarasota 3 years in a row, and nationally recognized as Window and Door Dealer of the Year. Price is what you pay, but value is what you get. Give WeatherTight Windows a call today, and don't forget the cookies.
With a fresh new look and over 60 years of keeping Floridians comfortable, Cool Today is the name to trust for fast same-day service. Cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Our friendly expert technicians take the hassle out of home repair today. And Cool Today is here for you tomorrow, too. That's why we're introducing a parts and labor warranty on select AC systems for a lifetime. For cooling, plumbing, or electrical service, get the best from today and for years to come. Cool Today.
All right, let's wrap up the weather with a beautiful shot here from Longboat Key. Absolutely gorgeous. The sun is going to be setting here within the hour, but hey, enjoy it. Nice breeze out there, just shaking those trees ever so gently. Just a gorgeous view. Not a lot of folks out there either, so if you're looking for a nice, calm, serene place, looks like the place to be. Now, as far as our weather here locally, as I mentioned for the start of this show, yes, we have a front moving through our area, but is it going to give us much rain? Not really. Let's check out the 5-day rain panels, and you're going to see a whole lot of nothing. Let's bring it up. There we go. Yep, maybe a little bit come Sunday, and that would be mainly across southwest and southeast Florida. Otherwise, pretty dry here. Now, if we look at how much moisture we have available in our atmosphere, this is a nice graph to depict that. Whenever it gets closer to that 1.75-inch line, that's when we tend to have more moisture to work with in our atmosphere, and we are way below that. I can show you a different version of that. This is just another visual to look at. Instead of numbers, you're looking at all the dry air in place. Yeah, so even with our front moving through, it's a dry front. It's not producing enough moisture in our atmosphere to ring out for rain. And that's unfortunate because this weekend, yeah, we did gather a lot of rain. In fact, some places had their max daily rainfall for, what was Sunday's date, December 7th? But moving into the next week, I even think these totals are high. I don't think we're getting that much. That looks too promising, right? It'd be nice, but yeah, 1/4 of an inch, yeah, good luck with that. Drought, our newest drought monitor comes out tomorrow. So keep in mind that every Tuesday is the cutoff time for any rain that we get from this weekend, for example. That will be included in this next drought update come tomorrow. It should be at least. So we may see some improvements here. Notice around the panhandle, they are extremely to exceptionally dry with that area highlighted in the red and the maroon. Taking a zoom in here closer to home, a large portion of our area under severe drought.